Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by 7 Sagas and their tabletop RPG, Ars Mechanica. This is a tabletop RPG featuring the 30 Years' War, but waged by Titanic walking engines. It even comes with solo rules. You will find it in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by Gates of Krystalia, the card-driven isekai-style tabletop role-playing game. It is available in 6 languages, and they have recently released the Last Deux advanced rulebook, which is of course the feature of this video. This optional expansion brings many things to the table, such as setting details, character development information, as well as isekai tropes such as the school trip, romance rules, the beach trip. You also have solo rules. To play this as a solo or cooperative experience without a game master, you will find it in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by Dead Tree Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop role-playing game where you play as monster girls experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released Daughters of Lamb. This is a pay-what-you-want tabletop RPG where you get to play as cybernetic nuns with guns, looking for the missing pieces of their AI god. You will find it in their website, the link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products and check out their recent release, Final Frontier. This is a streamlined sci-fi tabletop role-playing game where you get to explore space for justice, for profit, for both. You will find it in their website, the link will be in the description and in the pinned comment as well. Of course, as I said earlier, today I am continuing my review series featuring Last Deux, the advanced rulebook for Gates of Krystalia. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review series, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time, we are going to talk about what occurs beyond the gates, and what are the gates themselves. When the first gates appeared on Lumina, no one could imagine the vastness of the multiverse they would reveal. Lumina is the central world of the multiverse, a convergence point for countless realities. In its capital, Krystalia, majestic interdimensional gates stand like monuments of crystallized energy. These eternal nexuses are guarded by imposing stone guardians and surrounded by cosmopolitan districts where travelers from countless realities meet. When it comes to temporary anomalies, temporary portals can instead manifest spontaneously when magical energy concentrates at a specific point. These portals lead to altered spaces of reality that adventurers call dungeons. Unlike permanent gates, these anomalies rarely last more than a few days or weeks. The dungeons that form through these temporary anomalies represent both a danger and an opportunity for luminous adventurers, offering precious resources and arcane knowledge to those that are brave enough to explore them. Now, when it comes to the true nature of summoning, when an individual is summoned from their world to another, the process is more complex than simple physical transport. It creates a quantum resonance between the individual's consciousness and a physical manifestation in the destination world. This explains why those summoned often acquire extraordinary abilities. The process tends to idealize certain characteristics of the person, amplifying their latent potentials. It is also why death in a world different from one's own is not necessarily permanent. Not all those who cross the gates are heroes. Interdimensional merchants transport exotic goods between realities. Scholars map the differences between parallel worlds, and refugees seek new homes in distant dimensions. There is also an influence of crystals. Luminous crystals react uniquely with each reality they interact with. For example, in Neo Aether, they power the city's incredible technology, while on Gaia Prime, they accelerate the natural evolution of creatures. Now, when it comes to the traditional concept of God as an omnipotent and creating entity, this is absent in this setting. The closest thing are the Deus and other entities that could be considered ascended beings. They are not worshipped for their intrinsically divine nature, but somewhat venerated for what they represent. Still, things are handled a bit more tangible, a bit more practical. Now, when it comes to species and races beyond the boundaries, with the opening of the Gates of Krystalia, a migratory flow, authorized, inevitably began between the worlds of the multiverse. And as the Deus, as the game master, you have the power to shape your world according to your vision. Remember that the Deus is an actual character within the setting. The presence of non-native species and races can take countless forms across different worlds. For example, when it comes to isolated enclaves, in some worlds, migratory races or species might form separate and largely self-sufficient communities, while in the case of selective integration, other societies might welcome some species and races while marginalizing others based on cultural prejudices or perceived compatibility, or perhaps just facts. When it comes to the politics of the multiverse, this is an intricate fabric of alliances, rivalries, and interests that extend well beyond the boundaries of individual worlds. The Council of Worlds, presided over by representatives of the main interdimensional powers, meets twice a year to discuss issues that affect the balance of the multiverse. When heroes travel between worlds, make each passage through a gate a memorable moment. That is, as a game master, you should put emphasis on how the crystalline energy flows around them and how reality bends. This doesn't mean that you need to bore the players with an endless narrative. This only means that you should add some flourishes here and there. And this concludes this part of the review series. In the next part, we are going to talk about the crystals and their nature as well as combat techniques. The setting is very rich. There are various tabletop RPGs that have this multiverse type of situation, but here in Krystalia, there is a great emphasis put not only on the specific worlds that you can travel to, but also on the very fabric of reality itself according to the interactions of the Deus and other stranger beings. Thank you for watching this part of the review series. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the Super Thanks button. Take a look at the information in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master, and remember, in tabletop role-playing games, you are not telling stories about your characters. You are experiencing the game world as your characters. Once again, thank you and see you later.